live indeed. Okay, so we can mute that, turn that down, and we're rolling. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, the 13th of November, I think. You know, working from home, I tend to lose track of what the actual date is. Hey, what do you know? I'm right. It is the 13th of November, 2017. I am, of course, Stephen Britton, and this is my live podcast where I spend some time speaking freely. I am exercising my right to speak freely, my free speech rights, and nobody is ever going to take that right away from me. You may disagree. You may want to voice a different opinion. That is your right. Go right ahead. No one will stop you. You are free to choose to watch or not to watch this as well. With that said, of course, you can find me over on Patreon. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on minds.com. All three of those locations. You can find me with the handle SCBritton. Britton. Of course, put the @ symbol in front of them where appropriate. You can also find me on Facebook, Steve Speaks Freely. And, well, I can tell you what my YouTube address is, but you already know that. So, today I want to have a little chat about our Prime Minister in charge of the country who's running us into the ground with his free spending ways. More about that some other time. And just generally being a selfie-addicted embarrassment on the world stage. And his latest foul up, so to speak, is his trip to Vietnam to finalize the Trans-Pacific Partnership Arrangement. And instead of sitting down and finalizing the deal, getting the deal done, and putting in place a mechanism to repair it down the road. Now, don't get me wrong, trade is important. Free trade is very important. Donald Trump, in my view, really fouled things up by not signing on. But you know what? We're not the States. So you need free trade. Otherwise, with free flow of goods and services, otherwise it just closes off the economy. And most places in the world need an economy of scale, which means that we need to unite with other countries to form a trade agreement of sorts. So what happened? Well, everything was going according to plan. Trudeau was running around Vietnam, getting his selfies taken, of course, doing his usual thing. And then the meeting showed up. And then the meeting came, and Trudeau didn't show. Apparently, a few minutes, or just at the last minute, he decided he had a whole pile of last-minute demands to make. And then, because these demands weren't met, because, hey, well, we got to look at these now, he didn't show up. Didn't tell anyone where he was. Didn't tell anyone what he was doing. He just wasn't there. They all sat around like lemons waiting for him. Some prime minister. So much for responsibility to be a leader. The schedule, and I'm on the CBC. I'm on the CBC website here. The scheduled meeting with Prime Minister Abe went long. This is, it's actually, yeah, that's Shinzo Abe, rather, of Japan. They had some talks before the meeting. They had some disagreements, and then the meeting got called off. And Trudeau is now being accused of screwing and sabotaging the final agreement. Because he buggered off. But that's what he does, isn't it? Instead of announcing to everybody that, we've got some issues here and we're not going to be able to finalize this today, I want to make these proposals and have everyone look at them and we negotiate some more. Instead, he just didn't show up. So Trudeau, of course, he's countering by saying that we weren't ready to close it. Well, and that's fine. But you don't show up. You say, no, we're not ready to close this deal. So, he's been accused of snubbing the other TPP leaders. And frankly, that's exactly what he did. This was extremely bad form on his part. And, yet again, we have a prime minister who should be absolutely ashamed of himself. So, I've got to say this because I didn't vote for this guy. I hope you didn't vote for him either. I know that there's a very large number of Canadians who voted for him who are now experiencing buyer's remorse. And rightly so. With that being said, I'm going to wrap it at this point in time. And I really hope that you have a great week. My name is Stephen Britton. You can find me on Patreon. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on minds.com at scbritton. You can find me on Facebook, Steve Speaks Freely. And you can find me, of course, pretty much anywhere that there's an internet connection. If you want to sponsor the show a little bit and help me out by sending me a little bit of cash, that would be more than appreciated. Of course, it's never expected. It's always appreciated, though. And you can do so via minds.com or via Patreon. Your choice as to whichever you want to support. Otherwise, and all things being equal, I'll talk to you on Wednesday. Same time, same place. I'm Steve Britton. Talk to you soon.